And I always tell this story about entrepreneurship. I teach a lot of graduating cohorts of engineers, and because a lot of those guys have deals, and I like to do at Harvard, MIT, all these places. And we'd had a night class a few years ago. I'll never forget it. There's a guy up at the top, and these cohorts are like 600 people, some of these big classrooms. And it's a 3-hour session. That's long, 6 to 9 at night. We're almost at 9. And this guy puts up his hand who hasn't contributed anything all night. You start to figure out who's not doing anything, right, after 3 hours. He says, listen, I got to ask you a question. I said, well, yeah, it's 5 minutes to 9. You're finally contributing something. He says, no, this is a tough one. I've been running this business out of my dorm, and I'm about to graduate. It's a cloud business that provides compliance software for hedge funds that have $250 million or less, which is a niche business. Yeah. I'm making about $5 million a year in free cash flow. And I said, I don't hear a problem. You haven't even graduated and you've got an outstanding business and you're doing it part-time. He said, that's not the problem. My fiance came to me today and said that she's going to leave me. And I said, why? Because I'm not spending any time with her family. I don't have any time on weekends. I can't go out to the soccer games with her nephews and stuff. And I just can't because I'm so busy. And I got to keep my business going. I got to graduate my degree. What do I do? Now the class is like you could hear a pin drop in there, right? And I said to him, wow, okay, I'm not Dr. Phil, but let me give you some advice here. Which one is easier to replace? The girlfriend or the business?
Savage.
I mean, you got to ask that question. You're making $5 million a year, and every woman in this class now knows this. I
got a buddy who owns 11. I can solve your problems right now.
I'm going to guess that if you can't work this out, you're going to just do fine. And I said to him, the way you got to think about it is she's not the right person. If she's not supportive of this journey you're on, you're obviously going to be wildly successful. You're going to get somebody else. Yeah. Now, that caused a shitstorm.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We didn't end the class for another 45 minutes because we started to debate the merits of how you value your time and what's important to you and where you should decide to be when you're an entrepreneur. You've got to find a partner, a significant other that understands the journey and is willing to support that journey because that's ultimately how you're going to be personally free one day. So I would have loved to, do a check now, 2 years later, where that guy is now, but I bet you he's making a fortune.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got plenty of options.